Hi, everyone. Lisa Haven here. And you'll have to forgive me. Today, I've lost my voice a little bit and just have a minor cold, nothing major. But with that, right now, I smell mutiny brewing over at the White House over this Nord Stream 2 Russia gas pipeline. So much is involved in this thing that you need to know about because we've got war brewing internationally, and the United States of America could be involved. And this gas pipeline might be a kicker of some sort. At least Democrats and Republicans agree that Joe Biden should take different actions on this pipeline. But before I get into it, please get on over to noblegoldinvestments.com and make sure you are protected, your investments are protected, and get something backed. Get an IRA or a 401k backed by gold, silver, precious metals. And right now, they are giving away this 5-ounce silver coin, America the Beautiful coin. So get to noblegoldinvestments.com and talk to somebody about that today. All right. So just what is this mutiny brewing possibly over at the White House? We'll take a look at this article I found on the conservativebrief.com, and it's titled Mutiny Afoot as Democrats prepare to override Biden, says Ernest. Now, the article goes on to state this: there could be mutiny set to take place in the Democratic Party against Joe Biden, and it could undo one of his major policy decisions. Iowa Republican Senator Johnny Ernest said on Sunday during a Fox News interview that the measure to override Biden's approval of the Russia Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline between Russia and Germany is gaining steam, the Daily Mail reported. It goes on. Senator, and this is the question that he was asked by Chris Wallace. They said, Senator, what do you think of the chances that Congress could override the president and block the pipeline, and that you could get Democrats and Republicans joining together to override Biden? Fox News said on Sunday with host Chris Wallace. And he says this is how the senator responds. He says, well, I certainly can't speak for the House, Chris, but I do believe that there is a coalescence around the types of actions in the U.S. Senate. Democrats are concerned. Republicans are concerned. And what we don't want to do is allow Putin to continue with the pipeline, especially as he is preparing perhaps to invade Ukraine. So we do have to push back on that. And I think that there is a large group of U.S. senators that will push back on Vladimir Putin, the senator said. It goes on. I think the combination of sanctions that are being considered would be even more powerful than the signal of blocking the pipeline. Remember what Putin is trying to do here. One of his objectives is to divide the United States and Europe. Keep that in the back of your head. So we have got, if we're going to maintain unity, transatlantic unity, to implement very severe sanctions, we've got to work with our European partners, and that includes Germany. And so I would urge the Senate to think about that. But if you get satisfaction on blocking Nord Stream 2, you might, I actually undermine the effectiveness of the sanctions that the president is threatening, would be hopefully threatening to put in place against Putin, said the former defense official. Now, why is this important? Why is this pipeline an issue? Well, for starters, just kind of a brief overview. The pipeline makes Europe basically more dependent on Russia for that gas. And Russia's ultimate objective here, I believe, is to divide the United States and Europe, which is exactly some of the concerns of the Republicans there and Ernest. So if we allow this and let it go on, according to the Democrats, this could cause more unity with Russia and Europe and make Europe more dependent on Russia, and thereby, I guess, put turbulence, if you will, or something in the way of relations between the United States and Europe, because they have to be dependent on, of course, this Nord Stream 2 gas pipeline. Here's kind of more information on the pipeline. This is CNBC. Nord Stream 2, the Russia pipeline that everybody's talking about. I want to hone in on what's at stake in this article. It says Nord Stream 2 brings up different geopolitical aspects. On the one hand, the U.S. has always opposed the pipeline except for Biden, which I believe there's a reason for that. I'll get into it. But saying it's increasing Europe's dependency on Russia. That's why a lot of us oppose it, because it makes Europe, more dependent on Russia. President Joe Biden's administration has been criticized by law lawmakers from both parties, however, for not doing enough to halt the project. The majority of natural gas going into Europe already comes from Russia. In 2020, this represented about 43% of the gas imports to the bloc, according to Eurostat. So it's going to make them even more dependent than they already are. And of course, we know we have tensions, Poland, Russia, Ukraine, all blowing up in that area. But it says Poland and Ukraine are opposed to the pipeline, citing energy security concerns. It is feared the pipeline could lead to fewer natural gas flows via Ukrainian pipeline and hence fewer revenues to its ailing economy. So there's kind of just it in a nutshell. So why is Biden doing this? If both parties are in objection to this? Well, I'm going to side with Jack Posobiec on this one. He put out a tweet, and here's what he says. Putin knows everything about Biden and Burisma. Hunter Biden, Joe Biden, that whole fiasco. Maybe that's why he'll get Nord Stream 2 and anything else he wants, while all Biden does is issue statements. In other words, what Jack is saying there, because Putin has information on Burisma and the Bidens, Biden is caving to any and everything that Mr. Putin wants. Is that the case? Well, I'll let you decide, but I definitely think that Jack Posobiec is on to something here. Meanwhile, we've got a massive military buildup by Russia at the Ukrainian border. Here's just the latest on that. And I brought this up before on restrictedrepublic.com. Look, if you guys are not on Restricted Republic, you got to get there. Right now, we have an amazing special. Right now, you can get it for $1 for the first 45 days. You can cancel whenever you want. There's no solid commitment. Use the coupon code Christmas21 to get that discount. But basically, we've got all kinds of information. We focused a lot on what's going on with Russia, Ukraine, the war, all of that. Get to Restricted Republic and sign up for that. But here it is. dailymail.co.uk. Satellite images reveal new camps of Russian soldiers near Ukraine's border as the United States warns Moscow will be ready to invade with 175,000 troops. It was 90,000 troops a couple of weeks ago. Now it's about estimated 175,000. So he's building up troops in weeks. And Kremlin calls for relations with America lamentable, terrible, bad, if you will, ahead of Putin-Biden talks. Now, if you don't know, Putin and Biden are scheduled to talk on Tuesday. This is Daily Mail. White House confirms Biden and Putin will talk on Tuesday as tensions at the Ukraine border escalate. Meanwhile, Putin's been talking about NATO and the U.S. crossing a red line. Here we have on Reuters.com, Putin warns Russia will act if NATO crosses its red lines in Ukraine. That would, of course, include the United States. And here's Joe Biden saying, I reject Putin's red line in Ukraine. So lots of things are happening, lots of tensions. And one of the things that are really going overlooked by the media, as always, is the tension that is rising between Russia and Ukraine. You've got Poland involved. You've got the United States involved. You've got NATO involved. You even have Norway now getting involved. Here's Norway. This is on Zero Hedge. Norway restricts NATO traffic near Russia, tells the allies to keep their distance. So we have the potential for some kind of world war breaking out, if you will, because we have all the tensions with Russia. And then not to mention, we've got tensions over with China and Taiwan. And here's one kicker that I think is a real possibility. Since China and Russia are kind of allies, if you will, or have been in that direction, what if, and I'm not saying this will happen, I'm speculating, what if Russia invades Ukraine at the same time China invades Taiwan, because there's tension with China and Taiwan, and they have this coordinated attack plan? What on earth would the United States of America do when Biden, not the White House, but Biden said we'd help with Taiwan? The White House says something different. And then we also have us with NATO warning Putin against their invasion on Ukraine. What would the United States do? Well, that would be a full-fledged escalation in that we have never seen in a very long time. We're talking world war breaking out. We would have allies, we would have sides, we would have the whole 9 yards. And I would say that this would make COVID look like a walk in the park. I'd love to get your thoughts on that. Comment on that and let me know what you think. Anyhow, I love all of you. Thanks again for tuning in. I'm Lisa Haven, signing out.